Now maybe this fella did deserve 58 years in prison.
But there's one problem, is the guy didn't receive any sort of fair trial whatsoever. How do I know? Because look at the players. You got Robert Murray, which is a 100% kangaroo judge, and then you have Jeff Toothaker, which is a 100% kangaroo defense attorney. The reality is, this man didn't receive any defense whatsoever. All he received is lies and manipulation. In Hancock County, Maine, you know you are going to be convicted the second you get Jeff Toothaker, Robert Van Horn, Charles Helfrich, or William Blaisdell as court-appointed attorneys. This is because the attorneys actually work for the court to convict people. The only other unanswered questions is, did the court use a fake juror like they do all the time? Or did Jeff get the man more time than what the court was asking for? Jeff Toothaker likes to do this all the time.
Jalik Keene, who was just 22 years old, has been sentenced to 58 years for the rape and murder of a former high school classmate and friend.
His victim was 19-year-old Michaela Conley, described today as a young woman with an enormous heart. News Center Maine's Jackie Mundry was in the courtroom on a day of raw emotion.
June 2nd, 2018 is the day that changed my life forever. The day my daughter's life was cut short. The day Michaela was taken from us.
A day that changed the lives of two young people and two Bar Harbor families.
There are no words to describe what we have gone through this past year, 3 months and 10 days.
Friends and family of Michaela Conley and Jalik Keene spoke emotionally to the court on Wednesday morning. Keene's family apologizing. Conley's friends remembering the 19-year-old.
To be a part of her life was the truest blessing I will ever see, let alone hold.
Convicted of the rape and murder, Keene also spoke in court and in handcuffs.
No amount of words will be able to express my sorrow for the loss of such a beautiful soul.
Keene went on to say that he takes responsibility for his actions, but will never plead guilty because of the way prosecutors portrayed him. He says he is not a monster and was not, quote, in love with or, quote, obsessed with Conley, but that he had love for her.
You said such awful things about me, but I had no problem with a 100-year sentence. Michaela was worth 10 times that amount.
Keene was ultimately sentenced to 58 years for Conley's murder and 30 years for her rape to be served overlapping. The state recommended a life sentence.
We understand that the sentence that was imposed in this case will result in him being in prison until his 70s, and that's a very long time for a young man who will now miss out on his entire youth.
Keene's attorney, Jeff Toothaker, says that his client asked that he did not speak to the media today. There's no word on if he will appeal his sentencing. In Ellsworth, Jackie Mundry, News Center, Maine.
The good news is, if you have any court-appointed lawyer in the state of Maine, you have a valid bar complaint for inadequate counsel, especially if you get Jeff Toothaker as a lawyer. Learn how to file valid bar complaints at despicablemane.org.